Right, well, let's move on to our guest. So each week in the Perth Wildcast, we will indeed have a guest, and I don't know if you two have chosen our guest or if he's just decided to stamp his foot and say he wants to be part of this. And to be brutally honest, it wouldn't surprise me.
I think it's the second one.
Yeah. Gonna be honest.
We are talking about the man who just a few months ago officially became the Wildcats owner. He's someone I have known since I was about 5-6 years of age.
Well, we got photos, by the way.
Publish them.
We will delve into this in just a moment. His name is Mark Arena, and he joins us as our first guest on the Perth Wildcast. Hello, Mark.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Awesome to kick it off in the first episode.
Did you demand to be on this podcast?
I wanted a good in-depth interview, and I thought giving these two and yourself free reign to ask me whatever you want. I don't promise to answer everything, but at least you can ask me whatever you want.
I was really hoping you were actually going to answer everything as well. But we'll see.
Hopefully I set a good example for future guests.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, me and Mark, we went to primary school and high school together. I don't know every juicy detail, unfortunately, which is a shame.
Yeah, damn it.
I know, I apologise. But I did send you guys photos to prove that we indeed did go to primary school and high school together. And we were sitting next to each other in year one in the school, in the photo that we've got.
Yep, you got to publish it on the YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Use it as the first clip, like the picture you have when you start a video.
Yeah. That's going to be
Just
the
a
one.
picture
That's
of
the
you
picture.
and Mark as a sixth grader.
We'll ask the digital team to organise that one. So, Wildcats. Yeah, I knew you were a big soccer fan and also a basketball fan.
Yep.
But why take on the Wildcats ownership?
Yeah, so I kind of came back to Perth with my wife and family, and then I kind of stepped down from the cybersecurity company I was running, and honestly, I didn't want to run another tech business. I was exhausted. Even after a year off, didn't want to do it again, put my family through it again, and I thought what would be super motivating was sport, and yeah, I reached out about the Perth Glory, and I wish the A-League and the Perth Glory were in a better situation within Australia, but it just wasn't compelling, and reached out to Hutchie pretty quickly after, and things moved pretty quick, and that's kind of how it happened.
So what has been your hardest adjustment from the IT security job you had transitioning to the sports industry?
I think the extremes on either end. It's so good when you win, so bad when you lose.
Yeah.
And people make you feel it, not just yourself and the pressure on you. I mean, I'm sure you two have got the similar thing, right?
Oh, 100%.
It's hard, it's hard not to see what's written on social media, even if you're not the one reading it. People love to send you it.
Or the hate messages.
Yeah, or I fortunately don't have that so much. But I think it's extreme on either end. And I think, that's great and it's bad. I think a lot of people are emotionally connected with the club, which is a great thing to have, and passionate supporters. But obviously can be a bit frustrating, and as a fan, I'm as frustrated as anybody else as well.
More relaxed. Any sports did you play growing up? And if any of them were basketball, at what point did you realize professional was just not in the cards for you?
I think pretty early. I played actually at Warwick. It was Warwick Leisure Centre back then, so Warwick Stadium now. I played in primary school, and then kind of stopped at the end of primary school, but stayed with soccer. But I mean, I don't have the build. I think if you look at sports people, they're either really, really good, or they have the build, or both, right? Like if you look at, I always say like basketball is a discriminatory sport. Typically, you have to be tall or really, really good. Like 3 times
Can
as
be
good.
proven wrong.
Yeah, well, 3 times as good as everybody else, right? So yeah, I just knew I was more good at computers, and I kind of gravitated towards that more than sport. But I mean, I did sailing. I did really, really good. Won state championships over multiple years in sailing.
Nice.
Still do that every Wednesday afternoon.
Oh, cool. Yeah, tough sport. A lot of core.
A lot of drinking. If that's what you mean by tough sport.
That's why you take it up, I feel like, when you're older.
Exactly. It's a social sport. But I did dinghy sailing, which is like wetsuits, out of control, extreme, when I was younger. So that's what I was got state championships in. But yeah, so I'd say then soccer. I was in soccer. I was the captain of our year 12 soccer team at Sacred Heart, if you remember, Leachy.
I do.
Yep.
I've got the Kringle to prove it. That was our yearly sort of book.
Yep. But I didn't play basketball at all in high school. So wasn't tall enough.
Yeah, so if you had to now you've come into the Wildcats, if you have to describe the culture in 3 words to someone, what would they be?
It's hard to say 3 words. I would just say the culture is really, really strong, but we've and hopefully Elijah agrees. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, and so one of the
words isn't enough, probably.
yeah, and so we're doing like a rebrand right now, and everyone online's like, "Why are you wasting time?" Or "That's just a logo change," and it's way more than that. It's like, what is the culture? What is the vision? What do we want to stand for the next decade? So we're working on that at the moment,
awesome.
and so that's actually going to write down the culture and the values in writing, and then so these guys when you're training, it's on the wall type thing. So
awesome.
so yeah, hard to write it down. Like I said, a lot of people speaking to a lot of former players, people say it's very high, great, strong culture, and I 100% agree with that. But writing it down has been a more challenging thing.
Yeah.
So we're working that as part of the rebrand.
Well, awesome. I'd say definitely from an outsider view, I can tell like how strong the culture is. It's so historical too, and obviously like it's a champion winning team. So yeah, I can see that from beyond. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I'd say won the most championships, but also the most community-focused club of all the clubs in the NBL. Like Elijah, when you were going to sign up, I don't know if they told you that the Wildcats does more community hours than any
no,
other.
They didn't say a word to me.
Yeah.
I think they purposely hid
Got
that from
roped
me.
into
Yeah.
that.
No, so like this is a strong one, right? Everyone's like the immediate like tactical thing is like make less hours for the players, but I'm like, there's a reason why the Wildcats has so much support in the community because we're part of the community and we're at these schools. What is it? A couple of times a month, easy for you?
It's more than that.
Yeah.
It's probably at least once or twice a week. I mean,
yeah, and we even spoke to some former players about it, and it was like, well, what do you feel about it? And it was like, hey, you're tired after training, but then you go there and you see the kids' faces, and maybe that changes you, maybe that motivates you more, and then you're playing at RAC Arena, which is absolutely packed at the most support of all the teams in the NBL. Like that's why we have so much support at RAC Arena and in the community. It's because of the work the team and the players do in the community.
That's awesome, and it's so good for these younger kids aspiring to be Wildcats and future NBL players, getting to see them live in person, get to chat to them, ask the questions. So yeah, it's awesome. It's really good.
I can't attest to the promos, you being too tired to do it after practice. But then, at least me personally, I think some of the other guys, they've always said like, oh, I don't want to go to this promo right now. And then you get there and you do it, and you're happy that you did it afterwards.
Yeah,
because
100%.
I mean, half the time kids are giving you little gifts, or you're signing autographs, and all the kids are laughing, smiling, and that, I mean, it's one of those things that kind of just makes your day.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, obviously, wanting to, you don't want to drive 30 minutes away from training
Those are a little
after
far.
you're exhausted. But then, yeah,
30
exactly.
minutes crazy.
Yeah, but then you get there, and like you said, you see the reaction, and you're like, you understand, what do you stand for? I mean, part of the culture and the vision that we're creating is about like, as a player, you're like a superhero to these kids, and it comes with great responsibility, right? So I think that's so key going forward. That's why the Wildcats have been super successful long term.
Yeah.
I will stand on the ground that some of these promos are too far. There was one where you had to go like an hour and a half to get to it. That's a little much.
It just goes to show that Perth is such a large city.
Yeah.
Even though it's 2.5 minutes, it's a long city.
Yeah, and you must have pissed somebody off to get given that, to be honest.
Well, it actually wasn't me. It was Dylan Windler. He had to go
What
like
did he
2
do?
hours.
What did he do?
Oh,
That's
definitely
me.
in the bad books. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did. But saying that though, you had my daughter's school, and
that
you
was
were there,
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
5-10 minutes away.
Oh.
The ones where you get to like play with the kids are always the best ones. Because they like to think that they can beat you.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's enjoyable to ruin their hopes a little bit.
Yeah, just a quick swat of the ball.
Did you see Wilbur walk into a pole?
I did not see that.
It was so funny. Wilbur, like, then someone had to hold Wilbur's hand, and Wilbur just went straight into the poles. I felt bad for about a split second, but then thought it was funny.
He's got protection. He's got padding. He should be fine.
I know.
You talk about community, and I'm interested about this because obviously here in WA, football is obviously a big thing. When you get to summer, it is a bit of a battle for hearts and minds. You've got basketball, you've got cricket, you've got football, soccer. But at the same time, even in winter, obviously basketball is a huge thing. You only have to go to any indoor stadium and there are people everywhere. There's probably a thinking that community wasn't a big push maybe in the last couple of years or so. You've made it a big push, and so it should be. How important?
I think it's ultimately what we're about. I mean, like, we're not like a footy club who's got, I don't know how big a footy club squad is, but I'm significantly bigger than 15 that we have. So obviously, but bang for our buck and community impact for the size of the organisation, I think we're unmatched probably across Australia. And, obviously we're going to continue to do that. And big part of buying the Wildcats is because of that community impact. So I don't know if people knew that I'm not getting a salary. I'm not pulling profits out of the club. Anything we make, we're going to put it back into the club, and year on year, we want to be better than what we were the previous year as well.
Okay, go.
Speaking of community, have you thought about buying like an NBL 1 team or doing like a Wildcats type of, like almost like a G League type thing, but for the Wildcats?
Yeah, so NBL, so listeners, people don't know, so NBL 1 is the state league, and it's NBL 1 across, I think we're called NBL West.
I have no idea what it is either.
So NBL West is the kind of metro area, and I think like most of the teams are based in the Perth metro area.
Yep, then you've got a couple in like Bunbury, Kalgoorlie, Geraldton, etc.
Yeah, and so they play in the off season to the NBL, so it's really good. As part of me, being the new owner, I'm really SEN, the previous owner of the Wildcats, owned a team in New Zealand, so they would encourage Wildcats players to play in New Zealand for that team in the off season. Me coming back here, we want to have our, preferably our team in Perth during the off season, knowing that you're from the US, Elijah, so we have every expectation you're going to go back home and not do a lot for probably a month if I'd had guests or more, who knows. But yeah, so we have an academy team. Our academy team is the young guys, I think 14 to 19 years old or so. We want to play midweek games during the NBL 1 season with the academy. And it's all about getting our young guys competitive games. And I don't think, at least anytime soon, we're going to be able to have that team in the NBL 1. It'll be the Perth Wildcats, but it'll be the young guys. But we just want regular competitive games with them. And then I also, by doing that, we want to partner with a lot of the local associations who run these NBL 1 teams. And I don't know if you've been to the games or you've heard it when you're playing, where we recognize we have one association tied to one game. There's a player. Are you tied to any of the associations?
Yeah, I think Apex.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Perth Redbacks.
Oh, we're talking about, the
Redbacks.
Redbacks, yeah. Okay.
So you're tied. So a lot of our players are tied. We pair them up with a local association, the Redbacks for you. Yeah, I think have you been out there?
Yeah. Once did a nice little clinic out there.
Yeah,
Fun.
and it's all to help first, raise basketball, raise the profile, because Wildcats is a great platform to raise basketball there. And then, like I said, in the off season during the NBL 1 season, we want to be playing midweek games with it, and we want to encourage our guys to play in the NBL 1 and stay here, knowing that you're going to need a break or anything.
Hey, you don't know that.
Are you prepared? Do you want to go in NBL 1?
I'll wherever I can get a good amount of money.
Well, unfortunately, there's not a lot of that in NBL 1.
Yeah, more off-season league.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I'm all about it. And the NBL 1's getting more and more competitive as well. And obviously, if we have a number of our players playing in NBL 1, senior players playing in NBL 1, that's a good thing as well. And yeah, like I said, get the young guys, the young academy guys, regular games and developing them. I think that's the future of the Wildcats. Obviously, that academy team.
Yeah, awesome. Kind of going off of that, as a Lynx player myself, do you have any intentions of potentially buying the Lynx, the women's Wildcats?
Yeah, so I've said it publicly. I would love in the mid to long term to own the Lynx and the Wildcats,
Awesome.
and get rid of the Lynx name and have the Wildcats men and women's team.
Yeah.
And then have the academy team, men's
awesome.
and women's as well, because Lynx is just starting up a academy as well. And I think that leads into those, we can have cross members, like members that are members of both, the 10 games both. We could do double headers at RAC Arena.
Yeah,
Elijah, I have no idea where you would warm up if there was a game beforehand.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Hoops Fest was that, right? I guess you had a double header before.
Yeah, I think so, but you just don't get as long of a warm up is all.
Yeah. Is it bad? I don't know.
It's not like I shoot 2 hours before the game.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, it's just a little different.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I guess it's consistent for both teams too, though, right? So if it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd love double headers at RAC Arena.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We'd definitely love that to happen. Just a lot of the cross synergy between the teams are doing the same things. We do ticketing, we have corporate partners, we have media team, etc. So yeah, would love that to happen.
Yeah, awesome. Side note, my favorite movie is High School Musical. Always wanted to be a Wildcat, so the change of name, I'd be down for it. Yeah.
We said what?
Got another question?
Oh, another question. Oh gosh, I wasn't ready.
That's okay. If you don't, I've got one.
Yeah, you go ahead. and then I'll
Okay,
go.
fine. In terms of taking on the ownership,
Yep.
what's the one thing you weren't necessarily prepared for?
Yeah, I'd say the facilities, the training facilities has been the most frustrating, and I'm sure it impacts the links as well. People don't know that we're like kind of links and the Wildcats are like bottom of the totem pole when it comes to priorities at Bendat Basketball Centre. So we're based in Floreat at Bendat, and people think like, hey, we're the Wildcats, we're the most supported across Australia. We should have awesome facilities. Sydney Kings has a high performance centre. Brisbane's getting one built for them. Tasmania's even getting funded to build one. People assume the Wildcats would be at that, but we've been caught by surprise. Everyone in Australia has by the growth of basketball. So there's not enough courts. Kids are being turned away. Massive waiting lists, and so we never can train at Bendat on the weekends. We get sent to high schools, random high schools.
Really?
And and even during school holidays, we get sent to random high schools as well. 2 days before Hoops Fest, we were training at Warwick. So 2 days before opening round Hoops Fest, we're at Warwick. So
Trinity.
yeah, most frustrating thing I've found, and it comes across to me as like we're a social league and we go get we drink too much on a Friday night and then we play on a Saturday. That's what it feels like. I don't know what you guys think. I know you come from college. You were at college, right?
Yeah.
Both of you, right?
Yeah.
Was college facilities in the US better than what we have here?
Oh, absolutely. Pretty next level.
She was at Duke, though.
Yeah.
Of course, you got the best facilities.
What about you?
I mean, we were mid-major, and our facilities are better than what we had. A high performance center.
Yeah.
With ice bath, ice bath, hot tubs. You have, medical training stuff, all that fancy stuff that we want, and all the other places have. We had it, and we were a mid-major school.
Yeah.
So
I'll just say so that's been one of the top things I've been working, and it would be part of links would be a part of it as well. And it's we put a submission in for support, government support, for government and local council support to build can't give you the location, but to build a purpose-built facility which has a community aspect to it, because we don't use it the whole year, right? Even at nights during the week, like that's weekdays is when we're probably most like business hours when other people don't want to use it. The community's not available because they have real jobs. You know what that is like.
Didn't know.
But yeah, so community can use it when we don't use it, and then I know I'm not sure if the links goes across to the Western Force. I think we can use the
Yeah,
gym
we do,
an hour a day. That's all we get to do. So
Yeah.
building a facility with recovery, gym, office space for the whole crew. We don't have enough office space at the Wildcats offices upstairs at Bendat. I'm in sharing a desk with Danny Mills, our GM. So yeah, it's not ideal, and it's not what I expected being the top most popular basketball team.
There you go.
So I got two of these. First of all, I told you I was going to ask you this.
That's fine.
What's your favorite person in the Wildcats? Told you I was going to ask.
Favorite person.
To work with, deal with, just in general.
And you're allowed to say Elijah Pepper.
You're encouraged to say that.
It's so easy to
I feel
say
like
a player,
it's hinting
though.
that. Yeah.
It's so easy to say a player.
You can do a player and a non-player, one of each.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good.
okay. I'll say player, and I won't choose you because you're here. He's threatening to throw things at me. I'll just say Jesse. Jesse, the level of professionalism. Just listening to him talk with media.
Safe pick.
It's very safe pick. He's always, what does he always say? Like, that's above my pay grade. I'm like, damn it, I wish I could use that. When he gets a question he doesn't want to answer.
Technically, everything's above your pay grade.
True.
You're not getting paid.
I know.
Yeah.
I should use that.
Might be able to use it.
Yeah, you can be my media handler. Sorry, Jordan. So yeah, on the playing side, and I would say most on the staff side, and I think it's more the person who gets their job done without any fuss, just does stuff and sends me things like, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I have no opinion. Tell me what you want to do. And I'll just say, I support it. And I have to say Emma Santanova, the head of brand for the Wildcats, covers ticketing, brand, merch, quiet achiever, just crushes it, gets on with it.
Make sure you send this to Emma then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so yeah, what does a day in the life of Mark Arena look like? Is
Yeah.
it meetings, offices? What's the go?
Yeah.
We
So
need a
it's,
video.
was that?
We need a video as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Personal
what do I
video.
actually do? It'd be boring though, just watching me typing away on a laptop. No, I think it depends on the day. Like I could talk about today. Like we're working. I don't know. I mean, you guys, you're obviously. I don't know if you're aware the collective bargaining agreement for the players is coming up. Do you know what that is?
No clue.
So it's part of, you have a players association as part of we have like your contract is a default format.
Yeah.
All the players get the same format. Obviously the terms are different, but so that gets negotiated for a number of years. So involved in some of those discussions with the NBL, who talks to your players association. So I think you've got one more year left of your agreement, and it's going to be a new one. So working on that. Talking to other teams, other team owners like to.
You like talking crap, or you just like?
We actually more tweet crap. Like,
Oh no, I saw some of your tweets. Don't
yeah,
worry.
like so it's more like that.
Not
Like
the tweet wars.
personally,
Yeah,
I
do you
mean-
want to know what the tweet was? I have it right here, actually.
Yeah.
What
Come
did I
on,
write?
share it all.
This is a quote. Mark said, "Hoodie douche
Yes.
versus," and then added Montrez Harrell, and said, "Hoodie douche versus at Montrez boxing match for charity. What do you think?" And fans were not happy with Mark for that.
I'd say the vocal minority was not happy with that. I'm obviously community first and would do anything to raise money for charity, and I think it would be a good idea. But talk about Montrez. I mean, what do you think? My view is he's been great for the game, great entertainment value. You never know what you're going to get. Like 30 points, he's going to shake the hands of the crowd, get them going. People love. Like I would have loved him to be coming to Perth. I think he's suspended that game in a couple of weeks, I think, or a week or so.
Devastating.
I think we go there, don't we?
Yeah, later, and he'll be playing. But yeah, I think great for the game. But yeah, you really never know what you're going to get. Like, I mean, saying that though,
I think he's just energized and excited. That's
yeah,
the type of love he has for it.
yeah.
Maybe don't get in people's faces, but
Do you think you'd ever go and like high five or handshake the crowd?
hey, that's not me. But
Why not?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if that's my personality, but
You wouldn't do it?
But hey, it's entertaining for the fans. You know?
Who has been most likely in the Wildcats to do that, or the Lynx?
you can go first.
For the links, I'd say LA, Letitia, at
Yep.
Import. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. So I feel like she would do it for
do it?
sure. Yeah.
She's the one who I wanted her to dunk it in front of me, and then she didn't do it, and we
Yes.
were all like disappointed.
Last game
Yeah.
down. Yes, I
She
know. I
could have.
thought
She had
was
an
doing
open. She had an open.
it. Yeah, and she just went for the easy finger roll.
I think
Yeah.
Ty.
Ty would do it.
I feel like Ty might have already done it at some point in his career.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if Ty's high-fived a fan or something after an N1 or something like that.
yeah. And it's this is so interesting about basketball. Like, I can't think of any other sport where we can be so close to the players. Obviously, Spider-Man quote: "With great power comes great responsibility." As a couple of the douchebags in Adelaide, was it Adelaide? No, in Melbourne found out. Who one's banned for life and the other for 10 years.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
you got to be respectful, given you're close than any other sport, and it's hope to see some of that. I love the emotion of it, and like I said, I think he's great value for the league, even though sometimes it doesn't obviously go that well. Yeah,
Yeah.
All publicity is good.
yeah.
That's what some people say.
Typically, yeah.
I'm going to finish this off by asking about the 16 days in WA campaign. So the involvement that's happening for Friday night's game against the Brisbane Bullets. And we talked about community as being a big focus, but tell us about the involvement with the Wildcats.
Yeah, actually, we proactively reached out to, I think, a person in government about it to support it. Given we have the Pink Game for breast cancer awareness, and this is about anti kind of domestic violence, which I think is massively underreported. And if we can bring some attention to it, or someone reports or speaks up, then wouldn't have done it before, then I think that's a win. In that, I don't know if you know, have you got the orange socks yet?
I have not. I'm getting them at the game tomorrow.
Okay, so
I don't want to lose them.
bit of advice: don't put them in the wash with everything else,
Oh,
because
You got to do it with cold water.
no, hand wash them on their own, because otherwise everything will go in there will be orange.
It rubs off. Nice.
Yeah. No, seriously. My wife yesterday was like, hand wash them, and like tell everybody. I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
But no, great cause to be supporting. Really, really keen for it. I'm going to be wearing them, even though I have pants on, so you won't be able to see it. But yeah, no, really looking forward to it. Tomorrow night.
Sweep the pants up throughout the game. It's fine. We'll get some photos. As we mentioned, the Wildcats taking on the Brisbane Bullets on Friday night, the 29th of November. For those that are listening past that time, you would have seen the game on TV already.
Hopefully we won.
Exactly, that's right. But if you are going to be heading to the game, orange socks, they can be available.
We're not selling them. We don't have a huge number of them.
That's okay.
Yeah, Elijah's got big feet. He basically took all the big ones.
Come on, Elijah.
My feet aren't that big. Don't bring Christian Doolittle in here. Let's talk about his size 17 feet.
I'm not sure if we even have any.
crazy.
Hopefully we have some that his size.
Needs like a double XL at least for those.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair on everybody else. The owner of the Perth Wildcats, Mark Arena, who has barged his way in for the first of the Perth Wildcasts. Thanks
you.
very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Rate their performance out of 10, by the way.
Oh, wait till you see that. I see the edit.
Okay.
Yeah, right the edit right there.
Very understandable. So, as I mentioned, 2 home games coming up. Friday, November 29, Wildcats taking on the Brisbane Bullets, RAC Arena, 6:30 p.m. tip-off. And then we back it up on Sunday, 1st of December, as we take on the New Zealand Breakers, also at RAC Arena. Then we go again next Friday night until, and then we go on the long break over on the East Coast.
That'll
Where
be fun.
it's going to be a bit of a grind, but team mentality, band together, and everything should be A-OK. Lynx have got an important game coming up on Sunday as well. Let's quickly mention that after a big win on Wednesday night against Townsville, winning by 26.
Yeah. So good. There's something we wanted to work on. The last game we lost by 4 and we kind of adjusted and then came out in all 4 quarters and everyone who hit the floor impacted, which was awesome. But yeah, quick turnaround. So our focus is now onto Southside. And yeah, definitely want to get this win as, we've got quite a hectic schedule as well.
Indeed. It's going to be a very entertaining next week or so with the Perth Wildcats, though. So, of course, keep an eye on the socials for the Perth Wildcats and also on wildcats.com.au for any information. And, of course, I'm lucky enough to be able to be a part of this because we've done a little agreement with our company, Southern Cross Stereo, which looks after Mix 94.5 and 92.9 Triple M. And I'm sorry, but you're stuck with me for the next few months at the very least. So I apologise for that.
Damn it.
I know. Trust me,
warned us.
This is the last podcast I'm doing.
There's much other better people, Miller. Don't you worry. That has been the first of the Perth Wildcasts. We will do this again in a few days' time. And, of course, you can download this from the Listener app, LISTNR, or wherever you get your podcasts.